All right, so it is week 7. As we established yesterday, there's 6 teams on byes, so 13 total games. So you have a situation this Sunday where it's 6 early games and 4 late games. I like that distribution, that there's only 6 in the morning. So no London, thank you. But Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night as per usual, but then 6 morning and 4 afternoon on Sunday. And as I'll say it again, on Guessing Lines yesterday, that was one of the few times in the decade that Chrissy and I have done Guessing Lines where we look at each other at the end of the show and go, I don't really like anything. Like we just had to sort of search for leans. What do you and Wes Reynolds, Stealth Alliance, Weekend Warriors in these contests, what do you think you'll be suggesting to Wes? Jeff is just shaking his head.
This is going to be one of those weeks where I inevitably suggest one of those giant favorites. Let's take Arizona and Houston, for example, Gil. Let's just start there.
Yeah.
Because that feels like the one where I'd be most likely to do it, even though it's the biggest number and may end up being the biggest number of the whole year.
Could be.
It's all said and done. What's the scenario where Houston plays that game within 17?
I mean, I don't know. Arizona didn't exactly blow out the Niners, right?
Yeah, but the Niners at least have really good defensive players still. And it's a divisional game. There's some familiarity there. Gil, the Texans...
I'm just answering because you asked. Yeah.
Gil, the Texans... Look, could the Texans cover this game? Sure, it's a 17-point line in an NFL game with a total that's less than 50. But Arizona, if they want to play, is going to score 38 points in this game. You really think Houston's capable of scoring 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, I do not.
Yeah, I mean, so, look, it's the biggest line on the board. It will be a square play for sure, but...
What's a bigger mismatch, really? Arizona, Houston, Tampa Bay, Chicago. I mean, you could make the case that Justin Fields hasn't done anything even in victory, and now he goes up against that Tampa Bay defense. That could even be a bigger blowout.
I don't think so. I think Chicago's defense has some competency to it, so maybe they can slow Tampa down a little bit. But look, I think Arizona, Houston, if Arizona really wants to play, that has the potential to be not quite what Buffalo, Houston was a few weeks ago, but pretty darn close to that.
What about the Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford dual revenge game?
I have no feel for that because it wouldn't shock me if Detroit loses by a touchdown in Goff's last stand, especially after what Campbell said on Sunday. And it wouldn't shock me if the Rams just completely decimate them and Goff turns it over 4 times.
Tennessee plus 4.5 against Kansas City. Short week for Tennessee. Does that look more appealing to you after last night or less so?
I don't think they can make a total high enough in this game because you're talking about 2 defenses that are not particularly good. You're talking about a Kansas City run defense, which is pathetic. You're talking about Derrick Henry, Derrick Henry might run for 2,700 yards this year. There is a
if he runs for 2,700, he's getting the MVP?
Probably not.
Come on.
Look, that's just that's not his fault. That's just what the era is. But the total would be what I would look to attack. Contest-wise, I have no clue.
Well, let's go to the contest. We have to come up with 5 picks this week out of these 13 games. 5. So Tennessee almost has to be. Tennessee's going to be very popular, I would imagine.
You would imagine if it's 4, especially if it's 4.
Now, the Jets-New England thing is interesting because you and Chrissy yesterday on Guessing Lines were very much on Team New England in that. And I just don't know if I buy that 100% because they should have gotten rolled by Dallas.
I was not nearly as high as Chris is on this. I'm just concerned that the Jets can't score in this game. That's my concern here. New England winning the game 20-7 is a very realistic final to me here, Gil. But I don't think New England's any good. And if you look at just solely the box score, New England should have lost the game by 17 points to Dallas.
They should have. And, I mean, Dallas had 3 first and goals and ended up with 3 points? Or was it 3 in the red zone and ended up with 3 points?
Three in the red zone.
Yeah, 3 in the red zone ended up with 3 points in the first half. The only 2 Wong teaser legs, and again, Stanford Wong, pseudonym, John Ferguson. The only really 2 Wong teaser legs are the Dolphins catching 8.5 at home against the Falcons and the New York Football Giants. catching 8.5 against Carolina at home. Yeah, I mean, I turned my head. I looked, and Jeff's giving me the thumbs down. I mean, you want to run and play those two teams?
No. I definitely don't want Miami because I don't want that game at all. Because, Gil, this is the first time, that Miami Falcon game, this is the first time we're ever seeing a team come back from London without a bye and playing right away.
Yep, didn't roll one.
I have no idea what that's going to look like. Could Miami bounce back after losing to Jacksonville and win this game? Sure. Could they get blown out because they needed to take the bye and London took a lot out of them, especially the way they lost? I could see both sides there. So I want that game less than the Giant-Panther game, where I would be more inclined to take the Giants than the Dolphins just because Sam Darnold has reverted back to New York Jets Sam Darnold.
The single most interesting to talk about this week, it pretty much is to me every week in the NFL, but really this week when the slate is so terrible from a betting perspective and there's only two long teaser legs, is Survivor. And this is the first week where Survivor is going to be really splintered because you have all the big favorites. Again, Arizona, Christmas considerations in Circa. Tampa Bay, a lot of us have used them. Rams, again, massive double-digit favorites against Detroit. Green Bay, almost a double-digit favorite against Washington. Some have used Green Bay, too. Then you have Baltimore and New England. New England 7-point favorites against the Jets. Baltimore 6.5 or 6 now point favorites against Cincinnati. So of the 13 games, what did I just list? 6 of them, almost half of them, are pretty big favorites. So you have 6 teams where I think a lot of people are going to – that's going to be relatively evenly distributed this week.
Well, it's all gamesmanship in Circa Survivor now. Because,
well, now it is, yeah.
Because Arizona is blinking in red lights for Christmas.
Yep.
Because assuming everyone is still healthy there and the trends for these teams continues, Arizona's going to be at least a touchdown at home on Christmas.
I have had them penciled in for Christmas, penned in for Christmas, if you will, from the outset.
I expect Tampa to be the top pick this week. That's just me.
I think a lot of people have used them, though.
Same with the Rams.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've given my Survivor pick every week on this show. I don't know if I've decided yet. Don't know. I have used Tampa Bay. I have used Green Bay. So take those 2 out for me.
I don't think New England's a bad one either.
The other 4 are considerations. But again, I'll say what I said to Chrissy yesterday and to you yesterday on the Guessing Lines. That's why you can't grid this stuff out from before the season, because after 2 weeks of the season, San Francisco would have been a huge Survivor pick this week. Now, please, 3.5-point favorites against the Colts, touch that at your own risk. That's why now is when you have to start really gritting it out.